You are watching ABC7 News at 5:30.
Welcome back. Sarasota County has closed the Venice-Mayaca River Park because of flooding.
ABC7's Rebecca Fernandez joins us live now from there with the very latest. Rebecca, what can you tell us?
Jacqueline Scott, well, after almost a week of this area being under a code red warning, those predictions unfortunately came true. These waters have flooded here, and now the gates are closed to the entire park because of these high waters. Here's a closer look at the flooding. The waters are more than 7 feet deep in the rear area of the park, and some parts are even beginning to overflow in the usually dry areas. Sarasota County says all entrances to the park will remain closed until further notice. And for locals who usually come here during the afternoon hours, high floods is something they're used to, but not like this.
Never seen them close the gate like that. Yeah, so it must have been, the flooding must be very bad.
As of right now, there is no threat to the 2,000 homeowners around this area, but Sarasota County is asking to have an emergency evacuation plan just in case. Live in Venice, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Rebecca, thank you very much.
We tend to see areas along the Mayaca River flood during the summer months. That's not all that unusual. And let's find out if we're getting any rain around the area this afternoon. Here's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
We are, but not the intense kind of rain that we normally see this time of year, with the storms slow moving as well to the west. We have this stronger easterly flow. On top of that, some dry air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So the storms are not all that intense. In fact, they're having a hard time producing any lightning. We may see a little lightning with this cell in particular here, moving off toward I-75 and State Road 70 and 64 near, again, looks like Terra, as well as stretching off up into right there near Heritage Harbor. Now, this is the flood warning that's in effect. This is the, again, the river there near Venice. The flood warning is in effect until Wednesday. It looks like it should go below flood stage by Wednesday. We also have the Peace River into DeSoto County as well as into Hardy County with some flood warning there. The heavier storms now offshore, that's where the west coast sea breeze has only made it inland there. Although the west coast breeze is hanging out right here into western portions of Manatee County. As this cell collides with that, there'll be a little bit better chance to see this become a lightning generating storm within the next 30 minutes or so. Lakewood Ranch getting a pretty heavy downpour right now. It's fast moving though. It's moving off to the west at 10 to 15 miles an hour, but right there at the town center getting some rainfall along I-75 as well. Some moderate rain. This is all moving off toward the west at around 10 to 15 miles an hour. And you can see that rain has been pretty heavy near Verna, but that is starting to wind on down as it heads off again toward Heritage Harbor and off toward, it looks like Waterleaf, and then eventually on into Braden here in the next half hour or so. As far as Venice is concerned, we had a little bit of rainfall down there near Hidden River as well. Some heavier rain earlier that has now ended, and that rain near Venice slowly coming to an end at this point. So a slight chance for a few evening showers, a little bit better chance here in the western portion of Manatee County over the next half hour or so. We'll have more on our weather coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. School begins a week from today, and local school districts will have increased security on campuses. The big question is whether or not Manatee County school guardians will be ready in just 1 week. So far, school district officials say they've selected 40 in total, 38 guardians and 12 lead guardians. Their job is to make sure students, faculty, staff, and others are safe from any threats. Law enforcement and student resource officers will be on campuses until those guardians pass their precision firearms qualifications.
The majority of it is firearms training, precision pistol training, simulator training, doing active shooter training, and actually basic firearms proficiency training.
We'll be training them either on live fire ranges or in schools to prepare them to be ready for their objective.
Once the guardians complete that training, there will be at least one guardian or school resource officer at each of the 50 campuses within the Manatee County School District.
And Sarasota County students and teachers will also be seeing some new faces on campus this school year. On the first day of school, all 21 elementary schools will have a newly hired officer at their school. Because the school district's police department is still hiring officers, this school year, the school resource officers and deputies already in the middle and high schools will remain there as their security. However, the chief says this time next year, the school district police department should be fully staffed with at least one officer in every school.
Right now our goal is one, we're going to have a number of relief officers. We're going to have a detective bureau to vet out any kind of concerns or perceived threats or investigate any kind of offenses that occur on our properties.
The police chief says 24 years is the average amount of experience from the new hires. Some officers have worked here locally, while others are coming from places like New York and Chicago.
After years of litigation, the controversial proposal to dredge Big Pass in Sarasota and restore Lido Key's shoreline has been approved. But a group of Siesta Key residents are not backing down to the city. ABC7's Alan Cohn is here to tell us why. Alan?
Scott, residents say they want a chance to talk to city leaders before sand is removed from Big Pass, and they will tonight. They'll have a chance at the Trapezoid. A group of people on Siesta Key have a long list of environmental concerns about removing sand from Big Pass for the first time, but a judge recently ruled in favor of the Army Corps of Engineers plan, claiming insufficient evidence to support those environmental concerns. Now, Lido Key's shoreline is at a critical point.
We have a crisis that we're facing on Lido. It'll be a minor miracle if we don't suffer some pretty significant damage this summer.
He basically saying, bend over, get out of my way, let us get through and do our project.
On ABC7 at 7, why those on Siesta Key refuse to accept a judge's ruling and how Sarasota city managers want to help them collaborate on the project's future. Scott, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Alan. Governor Rick Scott traveling to Colombia to attend the inauguration of the nation's next president, Ivan Duque. The governor will return on Wednesday. Other American officials also expected to attend that inauguration in Bogota. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley leading a presidential delegation. During his trip, Scott is also expected to meet with exiled Venezuelan leaders. His visit comes just days after there was a failed attempt to assassinate President Nicolas Maduro.
Happening tonight, St. Petersburg city officials will be taking public comment on what should be done with Tropicana Field if the Tampa Bay Rays move out. That 85-acre space taken up by the ballpark and parking lots right now could be used to create new opportunities for growth, economic development, and an enhanced community. That meeting happens tonight from 6:30 to 8:30 at the USF St. Petersburg Student Center.
Well, have you always wanted to check out War Mineral Springs Park in Northport but haven't been able to yet? Well, daily admission will be waived for all Sarasota County residents this Saturday, August 11th. The spring maintains 85 degrees year-round and is also the only warm spring in Florida. The park is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Proof of residence will be required for admission, including either a driver's license, an FPL bill, water bill, tax bill, or a deed.
Well, still to come in your Suncoast News, a new study lists the best and worst states to retire in, and the one at the top might surprise you.
Plus, why SeaWorld may finally be out of cold water after years of controversy. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 20% on our beautiful light finishes during the California Closet's Shades of White event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now. In one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 20% on our beautiful light finishes during the California Closet's Shades of White event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
As the start of the school year approaches, more and more kids will try to salvage as much outdoor time as they possibly can. According to a pediatric dentist, that may lead to more dental injuries. Here's Andy Rose with a few solutions.
Particularly in the summer months, we see an increase in trauma when children are outside playing sporting activities.
According to Dr. Jillian Wallen, a pediatric dentist and professor at the University of Nebraska Medical Center, dental injuries tend to spike for toddlers first learning to walk, and again for early teens playing sports.
There's a range of trauma from a concussion where your tooth is only bumped to a chipped tooth where maybe only the outer part of the tooth, the enamel, is broken. So the most severe dental trauma is when you actually will lose a tooth.
For the more severe cases, cosmetic veneers don't have to be the only choice. Dr. Wallen recommends using a tooth-preserving system like Save-A-Tooth, which can help maintain the tooth's vitality. And while this may be the ideal way to preserve your tooth,
But important to know, if you don't have that available, then cold milk is just as good.
Why cold milk?
What the cold milk and the Save-A-Tooth do is keep those cells alive until the tooth is able to be reimplanted.
And there's always one last option.
You can place the tooth in water, but it decreases the chance that the tooth reimplantation would be successful.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Andy Rose.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Once again, the Casey Key webcam showing pretty calm conditions out there with generally easterly winds blowing most of the harmful effects offshore. But the little west coast wind did develop this afternoon, and we are starting to see some showers popping up a little bit more intensely near that where the east coast has made it all the way over. But the point is, a lot of dry air in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. The storms really don't have enough moisture really to deal with and cause a real big concern. High pressure now off the Carolina coast continues to bring us that easterly wind, but this high is going to eventually move down, and it's going to move down south and eventually set up south of Florida. That'll happen, looks like on Wednesday and Thursday. That changes everything back to a westerly flow, which means a little bit more harmful impacts along area beaches, I believe, with that red tide. You can see the storm's pretty intense now offshore of Venice. That's about the extent of the sea breeze. That's about how far it made it. And it's hanging out right here in Bradenton, also in northwest Bradenton and Anna Maria. And this cell in particular that is now moving across Interstate I-75 is going to be a little stronger, I think. And near the Venetian, getting some rainfall there, a little second round of rain, if you will. Not very intense, should be through pretty quickly there. Lakewood Ranch has had some rain near Town Center, now stretching off toward the west near University and heading off again toward Palm Air. And then you can see some rainfall a little bit more intense just to the north of that into Manatee County, heading off into Palmetto, it appears, and also into northwest Bradenton over the upcoming, looks like 15 to 20 minutes. But that rain is pretty light right now near Bel Air Star Parkway. The intensity of the storm has really gone below 20,000 feet. Now, you can see the dry air in place on this water vapor imagery, and it's quite evident on this that it's covering much of the state. That's the reason why we're not seeing the explosion of storms that we normally see this time of year. Similar conditions anticipated tomorrow as that dry air will still be kind of sticking around. So your forecast for this evening, expect a few scattered showers for the next hour or so. And then by 8 o'clock, generally partly cloudy skies. Temperatures still pretty warm, 80 degrees at 11 o'clock. All this kind of moving off toward the west around the area of high pressure off the Carolina coast. And similar conditions anticipated for us on Tuesday. Limited shower activity, mainly afternoon and evening, moving off toward the west. And then by, looks like Wednesday, we start to see this frontal boundary move down and a trough of low pressure with it. And that brings us a little bit more concentrated inland storms in the afternoon on Wednesday. And it looks like our rain chances will be pretty low again on Thursday and Friday, at least near the coast. It's 93 now at the airport in downtown Sarasota. Temperatures reflect that, 92, 87-degree water temperature, 84 where the rain has moved through and that easterly wind has moved through Arcadia. But things are expected to warm up pretty quickly once that pushes through. Heat index not a big factor right now because the relative humidity is so low with that easterly wind. It's 93. We just missed a record high today. The humidity, 47% on an east wind at 9. And as far as the high goes, there it is, 94, 1 degree shy of the record, which set back in 1996. You always see hotter conditions on an east wind, and we saw that today. No rainfall report. We're 3.5 inches below average for the year, if you can believe that, 1.47 inches below average for the month as a result, again, of a westerly wind. Big storms over in northwest Ohio from Toledo to Detroit, where some severe weather watches are in effect, also into Colorado. And then the excessive heat warning in effect over the southwest United States from Las Vegas to Los Angeles to Phoenix as a result of that high pressure ridge that refuses to budge. Winds out of the east to start the day off at around 10 knots and it subsides to 5 knots by midday. Turns around to the west just a brief period of time later on in the afternoon. As far as the 7-day forecast goes, rain chances will stay below seasonal averages at 30% tomorrow for a few passing showers like we're seeing today. 40% chance, mainly inland storms on Wednesday and Thursday and even into Friday. We could even see a few coastal showers in the morning with that westerly flow. Back to you.
Time now to check your first alert traffic for the drive home. We are seeing a crash on State Road 70 at 15th Street Court in Bradenton. That is causing some minor congestion heading west near that intersection, so keep that in mind if you typically take that route home. Scott?
Well, it's never too early to start thinking about retirement, especially where you want to live out your golden years. Mary Maloney, though, tells us why the traditional choices may not be the best options for retirees.
Trading warm beaches for chilly plains. According to a new Bankrate survey, that's what more and more people are doing when they retire.
What we really wanted to look at was essentially the factors that make retirement locations either attractive or not so much.
Although Florida has traditionally been a popular destination for retirees, it did not top the list of this year's best places to retire. That honor goes to South Dakota.
It might surprise people that South Dakota comes out on top of the list.
The survey looked at 7 factors, including cost of living, weather, and health care quality.
That includes the availability of health care because as we all get older, one way or the other, we're going to need health care.
The Mount Rushmore state is followed by other cold weather locations, Utah, Idaho, and New Hampshire. The Sunshine State barely cracked the top 5.
Where Florida gets dinged is, broadly speaking, the quality of health care. Its health care system broadly is not regarded as being terribly good.
New York checked in as the worst place to retire.
If you're an expensive state, you're not going to be a very good place to retire.
The survey found more retirees are prioritizing health care over warmer temperatures.
If you're not able to make your dollars go farther, the weather is sort of irrelevant.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
Wells Fargo says hundreds of customers lost their homes because of a computer glitch. The issue came to light in a regulatory filing showing that software mistakenly denied over 600 homeowners mortgage modifications. In about 400 of those cases, the customers were foreclosed upon. The computer error was fixed in October of 2015 but had been going on since April of 2010. Wells Fargo says it has set aside $8 million to compensate customers affected by that mistake.
SeaWorld may be making a comeback. The theme park reporting a 5% increase in visitors, marking the second consecutive quarter that attendance rose. Both attendance and sales topped industry forecast, and shares are at a 4-year high. SeaWorld has been mired in controversy after the release of Blackfish, a documentary that attributed an orca's violent behavior to conditions at the park. Also, the company is often a target of animal rights group PETA, which accuses the park of abuse and scrutinizes its treatment of its animals. One lucky Bradenton man is now almost a millionaire. 53-year-old Lafayette Bier just won the $1 million prize in the $5 million Monopoly scratch-off game. He bought the winning ticket at a Quickie Mart on Cortez Road West in Bradenton. He's decided to receive the winnings as a one-time lump sum payment of $770,000. Congratulations.
Wow.
Entertainment news coming up next.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 20% on our beautiful light finishes during the California Closet's Shades of White event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
We've been fighting the war on drugs for a long time. We answer the phone 24/7, 365 days a year. On a busy night, we answer hundreds of calls. This war on drugs needs our intervention.
Since 2014, Addiction Hope and Helpline has helped people struggling with drugs and alcohol.
When the phone rings, we help people when they need it the most. When we get a caller into treatment, it feels right. It feels good. It's a blessing.
If you're struggling, drinking, using, and need to get clean, don't suffer alone in silence. Call Addiction Hope and Helpline.
Our people understand, and many are also in recovery. Call for support and strength. You can call for someone who can't or isn't willing. It's an act of love. Together we can help you beat this thing and erase addiction from your vocabulary once and for all.
Call 800-871-1644. 800-871-1644.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Another pair of satisfied emotions. Looks to me like elation and maybe some amazement. It's part of the Honda Summer Spectacular Event experience. You could say satisfaction comes standard here, just like the Honda Accord comes standard with a luxurious, roomy interior. All at the Honda Summer Spectacular Event.
We see it all the time.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Accord, 2018's North American Car of the Year.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 20% on our beautiful light finishes during the California Closet's Shades of White event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
In entertainment news, Demi Lovato breaking her silence after a suspected overdose.
The star sharing a message on Instagram thanking God, her fans, and vowing to keep fighting. ABC's Kana Whitworth joins us now with that story.
We heard from Demi Lovato for the first time since her apparent overdose. She took to Instagram with a post that actually caused Keep Fighting Demi to be trending throughout the weekend. And in her post, she thanked God for keeping her alive. She thanked her family and her friends and the staff right here at Cedars-Sinai, because she says without them, she might not be here. And I want to tell you a little bit more about what she said on her post. She said, "I've learned a lot that this illness is not something that disappears. It is something I must continue to overcome and have not done yet. I now need time to heal and focus on my sobriety and my road to recovery." According to People magazine, she will go straight to an inpatient treatment facility after leaving the hospital. A source telling People magazine, quote, "It's her choice to go to rehab. This is not anything that can be forced." She says she wants to look forward to the day where she can come out on the other side of this. But People magazine telling us that this statement really indicates that she might be very forthcoming about what happened here and about her recovery as well. So certainly wishing her all the best. Kana Whitworth, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Pop superstar Pink is in a hospital in Sydney, Australia tonight. The 38-year-old was first admitted last night after suffering from dehydration. She was treated and discharged, but then readmitted and diagnosed with a gastric virus. Just last week, Pink was forced to cancel her Beautiful Trauma concert in Sydney after she announced on Twitter that she was not feeling well.
Well, the sun is about to set on the Sundance Kids' Days of Acting. Robert Redford talked about retiring from acting back in 2016, but now he's confirming to Entertainment Weekly his new movie titled The Old Man and the Gun will be his last. The film is set to be out at the end of next month. Redford, who turns 82 years old later this month, has been acting since he was 21 years old. He may not leaving Hollywood altogether, though. EW reporting that Redford is still on the fence about directing.
CBS's longest-running comedy may run even longer. The entertainment president at CBS told reporters that he has begun preliminary discussions to renew The Big Bang Theory for a 13th season. But that appeared to come as a surprise to the executive producer, who then tweeted the word "huh" in response to that news. Should probably get on board.
Yeah, you think about they have to keep coming up with fresh material, new storylines. After
13 seasons.
Yeah,
that's impressive. I didn't even realize it was on that long.
Stay with us. More news right after this.